Pickaxe.
5, 4, 3, 2, live! Michelle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 909 of the Video Game Outsiders podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Michelle Madison, gamertag Coastal Michelle.
And I, of course, am your John Jacobson. Now listen, Michelle.
Yes, John.
This is a big show in VGO history.
It is. I'm excited.
Do you know why?
I do. I think there's only one person, though, who can set this up properly.
Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah. Let's do it.
By the power vested in me, I hereby pass the maple syrup torch to Rye. May your moose ride tall, may your beavers never run dry, may your syrup overfloweth, and may the coveted Canadian seed always remain filled. With the power of Alanis Morissette, Ryan Reynolds, and Sidney Crosby, I hereby name you permanent VGO co-host.
Wow.
Congratulations,
Here
Ryan.
it is.
Oh, it's
our
such an
Canadian
honor.
Host,
It's Ryan.
Passed over by our former Canadian host who received it from our former Canadian host, Slanky, if you've been listening for almost 20 years. But congratulations. It's your first official show. We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
And,
Oh, wow.
And
That was
honestly,
cool.
who are you? Where did you come from? What's your deal?
Yeah, what do you want us to know about you? Introduce yourself to everybody. You've been on before, of course, but just officially.
Been on a few times now. My name is Ryan, Generation Rye on social media. I come from a long life of video games and gaming. I'm an electrician by trade and listened to VGO for roughly 10 years now, and it's kind of cool that I can actually argue back with you guys now. So
Nice.
Good.
And what is
Looking
your
forward to it.
favorite game of all time? Right, just so we know.
oh boy, favorite game of all time.
Go.
I'm gonna have to give it to Enter the Gungeon. I've dumped
You
hundreds and hundreds
do
of
love
hours.
that fucking
I
game.
love that freaking game, and I will be covering it extrusively when it comes out with the sequel
Good.
later next year, I believe. So
Yeah, you're going to bring your own
What's-
unique perspective
what
in
am I
games. I know you're into
missing?
stuff we're not into, like Pokemon and things like that, right?
Yeah,
Like a lot of
but
different
Ryan,
things
what
we
am
don't
I
touch.
missing about that game? Because I've played it a few times and
I don't
just
know.
didn't continue. What does it get deeper, better? Like what?
It does. It gets extremely deep. I fell in love with it just from the art style alone, and I got deeper and deeper. Once you beat it once, it unlocks a plethora of things: items, guns, weapons, different dungeons, different boss fights, like upgraded boss fights. You get a new unique ending for each character. They had 2 or 3 free DLCs. The game was endless, and it with mods too as well. You can play literally forever. And I don't know. I just love the design, the
Interesting.
story behind it. It's 10 out of 10.
I mean,
for
you
me.
I
compared it
haven't
all
played
to
that one,
Binding of
really.
Isaac, or
Yeah, that's what kind of got me into it. I was playing
Okay.
Binding of Isaac, and I think it was 2016 or 2017 when Enter the Gungeon came out, and I didn't put it down for months. And I still play it to this day. I beat it again on Steam to get all the achievements because I originally played it on the Switch.
Oh,
But,
Nefro says he just started on Steam Deck yesterday. But yeah, in
Oh.
closing, we felt not only do we like you personally, but there's just something special, John, wouldn't you agree, about a Canadian host in VGO to
Yeah.
tamper down our aggressive
it's some
American attitude.
weird balance
It's some
of,
weird
of the
synergy.
universe.
It has to
Yes.
happen. It was a perfect fit. It lined up. So we're excited to talk to Ryan over the time here. We're coming up in our 20 years in August, and it's refreshing to have a new perspective. So it's going to be fun. You also have a Mario Kart contest to talk about that you
Yep.
just put up in our Discord. What's the date? What's the news if people want to sign up and play?
So the first annual, I'm going to say
Ooh.
today,
Wow.
VGO Cup, whether it's Mario Kart or whatever game we play, we're going to have a little tournament every year. This year it takes place on Sunday, July 6th at 4 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/John and Michelle. So everybody come on over there.
Yeah, you're going to
Come
stream,
to the
right?
Discord,
You're going to
though.
like show the race, and you're going to be playing too, right? Are you going to try to beat everybody?
Absolutely.
What happens if you win? Because I know you have prizes ready.
Well, you're going to have to...
Second place.
Yeah, you're gonna. I'll move myself out of the way, and you
Okay.
guys can still win. But maybe second place wins because I know you won't beat me.
All right.
So it's almost guaranteed.
He's throwing down the gauntlet. So come down to our Discord to sign up to play Mario Kart. If you have a Switch too, we'll see if there's enough people. If not, he can always shift gears and go to the earlier Mario Kart. John, I hope you play. If you win as well, maybe.
I might be arranging my sock drawer that day. We'll see.
No, you aren't. It's Sunday at 4 Eastern. I know you can do it. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. And as far as what else is going on in the Discord, you can win a copy of Stellar Blade for PC from our sponsor, cdkeys.com. I'm going to be talking about that game again tonight. So thank you, cdkeys.com, if you want to win. Oh, thank you, Nefro, for the gifted subs. Congratulations for Rye here as the host. He's given out 10, so that's cool. You can sub and support us on twitch.tv/John and Michelle. And also come on down, like I said, July 6th to watch Rye play along with the community for Mario Kart. So there's a lot of fun stuff going on. We've got a big show tonight. I don't know if you guys caught that thing from Sarah Bond with Xbox, that was kind of going around today, giving that what we kind of already knew. I don't know, John, do you have a clip?
Well, I mean, we've been kind of predicting this in a way.
Yes, well, I did, and you told me it would never happen many years ago.
You did not.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I said a long time ago in one of our prediction show that I thought Xbox should put Steam on it, and you said that will never happen.
Well, no, because
it's happening.
Well, what's happening is Windows is happening.
Well, yes,
right?
But in turn,
we're on the 11th iteration of Windows, John.
Because people might not know.
You, an Xbox experience, not locked to a single store or tied to one device. That's why we're working closely with the Windows team to ensure that Windows is the #1 platform for gaming. Windows is the #1 platform for gaming. Windows is the #1 platform for gaming. Windows.
So it's not Xbox anymore, it's Windows.
They had an opportunity to call it Doors, and they didn't. So.
Well, I feel like Windows is a good brand. Well, it's a known brand. Let's not say it's good. I know people prefer SteamOS and Linux, but Windows is a known brand. And yeah, basically saying we have more Xbox hardware coming for your living room, for handheld, and they are going to be Windows-based, allowing you to play your entire game library, whether it's on GOG or Steam, Excel, of course. Too. So that's interesting. Being able to play those Sony exclusives on your quote Xbox. We'll see what happens.
And by the way, the rumor is that this is going to come out next year, this console. Okay.
Ooh.
And Sony is fucking dead at this point.
No, they're not. They just Stellar Blade just launched.
So I know it's stupidly dumb.
I know they didn't make it, but they just sold 20 times faster on PC than it did on PlayStation.
Sony just came out and said PS6 is our top priority, right?
Shouldn't it be?
Because, well, I know, but they're seeing like what Nintendo had with their big giant launch, and now Microsoft comes out with this after Sony said that, by the way. So I'm sure this is some reaction to that, like preemptive. Mm-hmm. But like, seriously though, if they're making basically living room PCs that are affordable with Windows on them, they're going to crush it, don't you think?
I don't think so. I think
this is like there's like a stalemate here because Windows and Xbox are going to be everywhere, giving up that console space where Sony is going to be the sole living room console.
Right.
So now, unless they hop on board and allow people to play Game Pass or Xbox games on Sony, they might die. Like I hate to agree with it, but
I think for me, I agree. I want Windows on things. I want my whole library. But for the average living room console user, I think they want the comfort and simplicity to know they have a PS6. And you know what? Sony's still winning because they're putting their games on Steam. Like I said, Stellar Blade just sold 3 million copies, 20 times faster than it did on PlayStation already, like 1 million copies in a couple of days. So they're making money on PC, whether or not it launches on their actual PlayStation that way. So they're double dipping. People are buying games 2 times that they like. One's on PC, one's on PlayStation. Yep. And I don't think the average Xbox gamer is going to be excited about launching Windows on their living room console to get into Steam. They probably don't have a Steam library. Doesn't mean I don't
understand,
want it.
but they're going to have a controller-friendly interface that I'm assuming you can get out of, kind of like how Steam Deck is, right? You can get out of
their new handheld. You're going to launch Xbox.
Sure.
That's going to pull up the app switcher, so you're going to be able to go into like Xbox mode or Windows mode. Let's see what happens. I just don't think it's going to kill Sony. Which is exactly how Steam Deck. I think Sony's still going to sell more consoles.
Steam Deck, you can do that right now. It might be a little bit less powered because it's a few years behind now, but we know Steam's coming out with another one. O'Malley spilled the beans last week, so.
Well, we already know that's happening, and look,
I'm just kidding. He didn't say anything.
Don't get him in trouble. But no, like this is going to be a living room console, though, not focused on like a mobile chip. It's going to be basically similar architecture with AMD. They made a deal. They said, we made an AMD deal with Silicon and all that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But she also mentioned another handheld. She said a living room and a handheld, I think.
Well, we
right?
know that.
Yeah.
Like this one that's coming out by Asus is just, again, it's a licensing play. I think it's a way for them to test out this new OS interface, right? And then they said, we're going to hold off on our, first party console and focus on the OS, right? Yeah. So I think this Asus console, this winter that's coming out or fall, I mean, it's kind of the test console. You're a guinea pig if you buy it. I'm sure updates are going to happen over time. And then they're going to apply what they learned to their first party console.
Do you think it's going to sell as is, like it's experimental, launch Windows as is, or do you think it's going to be polished like a perfect Windows experience? What do you think?
A Steam OS type deal?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be its own dedicated OS.
I
think that's the word on the street.
It's going to be some weird fork of Windows 11 that boots into a joystic mode, right? Basically, right? And you can get out of it. I'm assuming that's what it's going to be.
Like Steam Big Picture, but mobile.
Yeah, which
Windows.
they already, I think you can kind of do that now with the Xbox app.
Here's
on
the question
PC.
I had though.
Yeah.
Let's say somebody decides, hey, you know what? I don't really want to build up my Xbox library. I'm going to buy all my games on Steam off my Windows Xbox in the living room. Does Xbox charge you to play online? Because if you have a PC, if you have a desktop PC, you guys know we don't pay to.
Well, that's a big question, Michelle.
Can they make money
in the
that
middle
way?
There.
Yeah.
Well, here's the $1 million question. Okay. If you're able to get to Windows, the desktop mode, right, and install Steam from there, then I don't see how they can charge for it online, right?
Well, they can shut online
can charge
down
online
on your...
for is on Game Pass.
But what if they force you to stay in the joystick mode, the controller mode, and you have to install a Steam...
your Xbox device to the internet, they're probably going to say you need Game Pass or you need whatever they call it now to get online.
No,
I think
they
so.
did that, that's not if you go to foot.
But not if you go to Windows. But if you go to Windows, I think you can do whatever the fuck you want. But if they keep you in that little, curated garden, which is the controller mode with the interface, the big picture mode.
Do you think the average user is going to understand to launch Windows and get Steam? I think the average person is dumb, intimidated, and isn't going to take advantage of it.
Listen to where I'm going to this, though. Steam releases like an Xbox version that shows up on their big picture mode
like
store.
Big picture mode, right?
That's what I'm saying. You never go to Windows. Like these Steam, like Epic and Steam and all that is in the Xbox store in that interface. And maybe you never go to Windows. Maybe you never get out of it.
But does Xbox care if people are buying their games via Steam? If they don't collect online money, they may never make another game sale from some people. Do they care? I'm saying, where are they going to dip? They're hoping they get on the Game Pass train. They're hoping they connect to play online.
Game Pass is their flow right there. I don't think they're going to permanently make you force you to have a subscription for online anymore. The only reason they do that on console is through Game Pass.
But we'll see. We'll see. I think they could make money that way because I think to connect your Xbox device for the living room to the internet like you need now to play online games, they're probably going to require some sort of monthly fee.
But let's not forget, Microsoft makes all their money with Windows, right?
But they're not going to charge people for Windows. It's going to be built into the cost of the box.
It's baked into the cost, so it's somewhere in there.
That doesn't mean
the license.
You can have a watermark on there forever.
Yeah, that's right. You want to?
But it's baked into the.
Now,
it's like it's buying a laptop at Best Buy.
Yeah.
The OS is baked into the cost of the device somehow, right?
Yeah. Either way, it's an exciting time. I think that's what you guys are kind of saying is like Sony. We know what's happening. You feel like it's predictable. We don't know what's happening with Xbox. There's fun new things. Switch is in their own lane. But I feel like maybe that's what you guys are saying. Sony's staying the course with sort of a PlayStation 6, just kind of as is. You don't think they're going to have any handheld devices, although
they need to do something significant soon.
I think they have the IPs that people want to play. Spider-Man,
no, they
whatever.
Don't.
God,
Spider-Man, yawn. Like, come on.
They sell a lot.
That's
though.
literally one of the only console exclusives I know,
but I could say the same thing about Nintendo, and those
now.
things sell. I mean, I don't know. I think there's enough there. I personally agree with you. You don't have to preach to my choir, okay? I don't own any consoles. I never will again. I'll play the stuff I want to play on PC, including the Sony exclusives. But I think for the average living room console gamer, you're right, Ryan, where you say like they have one choice now, kind of, because the Xbox could look confusing to them. Remember when Phil tried to launch the living room experience with the Xbox, John, where it's going to control everything, your Netflix, your media, your library. People didn't like that. They want just a simple console. I think the average
that
console
was
user,
stupid in hindsight. By the way, you're supposed to like plug your cable box into your Xbox and shit. Like, do you remember
you have your
that?
Xbox running to play Netflix. You refuse to use the app on your TV, so don't even start. You probably
I
like
use
that.
Apple TV.
You know what will fix all of this is if Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft all created an app that installs on the respective console where you can just play everyone's games. You can play Nintendo on
Xbox
Sony,
wants that.
and
they don't want that
I know,
anywhere else.
and
Yeah, and
it
what's
should-
the
it
what's
should-
the
would be
best
amazing.
platform to execute that? Windows,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Because it can run everything. But whatever. Nintendo will never do that. PlayStation, I don't know what they're going to do. I was thinking, because look, when Helldivers sold so well on PC, people said, oh, it's because it's a multiplayer game. PC gamers are never going to buy the Sony single player games like that. Well, with Stellar Blade, they did. So Sony might see something like that and think about, do we launch day one our published games on PC too? But now we're thinking, okay, they're going to be able to play them on Xbox devices in our living room. We have to delay this a year or we won't make those sales, like you're saying. They have to compete there, because if you can play these Sony exclusive games day one on your quote Xbox, it just sounds a little different than knowing you can do it on your PC. So I think it's going to get messy over the next couple of years in a good way for consumers, because
I really want to see how they execute this plan, though. Like, I really want to understand what
it's
they're
going to
going
be
to do.
expensive. It's going to be expensive. People are crying about the Switch 2 price. I think this thing is going to be insanely
But
expensive.
do they have two versions, sort of like, two different
the
AMD
S and X.
GPUs?
But two versions,
and
even the
CPUs?
cheaper Rogue Ally is like $5.99 or $6.99.
Well, you
Like,
can't
it's
bring your
not
Canadian
cheap.
prices to us. But no, I think that one is more powerful, and I think that it serves a
The
different
ROG
purpose.
X is like $1,100. Like,
Mm-hmm.
That was euro or something. I think it's
I
supposed to
know,
be
but-
$9.99. But we'll
Still.
see. We'll see.
isn't
but if
the
it
euro
replaces
worth
your
more than the US dollar?
It's not 1,000.
no, but we'll see. Like, that may replace like two consoles for people and a PC for people, though. That's what you guys are missing. Like, people are starting to
Yeah.
look for that one device to rule them all. Doesn't it seem stupid these days to own an Xbox, a PlayStation, a Nintendo, a PC? Like, back in the day, you kind of needed 4 devices. You really don't anymore. Plus, you've got your phone.
I haven't found the
think
need to own an Xbox in years.
Yeah, well, yeah, same here. So I think people are sort of looking at that one device maybe to say, you know what, I don't need to upgrade my GPU. I don't need to buy an Xbox anymore. This is cool. I can play handheld. I can dock it. I can plug it to a monitor, a TV. So anyway, let's move on. I know we've got a big show tonight. John, you played Mind's Eye. You have a big investigative report about that. You think a lot a lot of stuff is going on out there. I know, Ryan, you got your Switch 2. You still have to give your review of that. And so let's just move on. I think we're ready to do this.
All right, let's do our 10-second spotlight. Michelle, what did you do this week?
Okay, so I did play Stellar Blade, and I want to thank Sony and Shift Up for sending me a deluxe edition, complete edition, and I was excited about this because it has the Nier outfits in them. And this game is sort of a spiritual successor to Nier, because not just that the music is like the same, or it's like a similar story, all right, with like a hot chick with a robot or whatever. But the creator basically said like he loved the game and he wanted to do something with that. So there's outfits in the game, and the deluxe edition has like all of that stuff. And of course, the game has been out. John, you played it. You played it on PlayStation. You also did turn it on briefly on your Steam Deck just to see how it ran. I kind of knew what I was getting into. People saying it's an action hack and slashy, soulsy, Nier type game, but I didn't really think I would be taken in at all by the story, because people were saying like, oh, the story's not that good. I actually really like the story. To me, it's like a 1-1 kind of Matrix thing. There's Zion, the Oracle, phone boost. The citizens are all in a deep sleep, like providing power. I don't know. I'm actually interested in the world itself and the story. I think like the actual artistic design of the game itself and the worlds are fun. The parry moves are good. Like, people just saying, like, dismissing the game, oh, it only sold well because of the sex, or it only is popular because of Eve's ass, or whatever you want to, whatever
That's
your
stupid.
predilection is.
But she's a likable character, though.
She's a
What's
likable
wrong with that?
character, and the game, I truly believe if this was a male character, people would still be saying this is a fun game, because I think the combat is fun. I think that the world is
Game
cool.
looks sick.
I think graphically it's impressive. Also, the PC port they pulled off, I'm having a great time with it. Ultra wide, it has DLSS 4, it has Steam Deck, I think 60 FPS, people saying, John. I don't know if you ran around at all on some settings.
I did the whole intro on my Steam Deck, and there's a Steam Deck preset in the menu.
Okay. That's interesting.
And I was running that. And there's also like a Steam Deck like handheld UI preset that makes the text more readable.
Cool. They
but
put
it's still
extra
kind of
effort
small.
into this. Shift
No,
Up
they
did a
did.
really good job with this PC port and this game in general.
It runs smooth. I would say 40 to 60 frames, depending on what was happening. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the mods
which-
are already off the chart.
Can't expect any more.
For this
Yeah.
game. Like the modding community is already going crazy. There's already like over 1 million mods or whatever. Like I said, sold 20
I'm
times
sure.
faster on PC
Lots
than it did
of
on
outfits.
PlayStation.
There's a pregnant
Lots of
mod.
outfits. The pregnant mod. It's very weird. There's mods to make her fatter. You can do anything you want. Okay, with Eve. But she is a likable character. And I think the voice acting was great. I think the voice actress did a good job. And I think that just the story itself, I kind of already can see what's going on with Adam and Eve and where they were going to end up. I don't want to spoil a story, but I like everything about the game, and so for me, obviously people are, PC Gamer gave it like a 68 and said it was just a gooner game or something.
No
like
way.
I think
That's
that's a weird sort of thing to say.
Because
and
there's a
just-
sexy girl, it's a
Yeah.
gooner game, and we're gonna knock off points. Like that's just
I mean, as a straight
idiotic.
woman who likes men, it has nothing to do with why I like the game. Do I like her design? Is it cool to play as a fun, attractive character in a game? I think we all like that. But I like collecting the outfits for my own reasons. And I think that, like, even outside of that, if it was a dude, I would still like this game a lot. If you were playing as Adam instead of Eve, I would still like this game because it's just like a cool world. The combat is fun. And I don't typically play a lot of, like, there's even like some platforming here. And like, I don't like the yellow paint thing that we see in a lot of games with platforming.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a perfect game. It's not a 10 of 10.
That's kind of the stuff I like the most when I got to the platforming stuff when I
You
played
like
it.
that? Yeah, I could see you.
But the
liking
yellow
that.
paint, though, I hate that.
I
That's
hate
so
that.
dumb.
But John, I know
Yeah.
you didn't get that far. The world does open up. There's a big city you get to, and then after that, there's a big open world like desert zone. I sent you some photos, and
Yeah.
that's where I had a good time just hunting those near currency to find the outfits to unlock. And like that's a big part of the game is collecting and exploring and seeing what you can get and all these different things hidden. So there's a lot going on here. It's not just the boss battles, which can ramp up and get pretty difficult. I was talking to my friend who played and loved this on PlayStation. And he's like, there's some cheese builds you can do. If you don't want to put it on easy, if you want to keep it on normal, there's like some builds that you can sort of copy online if you're having trouble with some bosses, because some people are saying they can take like 20, 30 times to beat some of the harder end game bosses. So it is like it has a little bit of a tinge of a difficulty, but I think it's doable.
You
It's
could
not
switch
like
to story mode anytime, right?
Yes, exactly. So, and if you don't want to do that, there are builds out there to make it easier. And she has all these different talent trees with alpha beta moves, and you can unlock more stuff later. Eventually, like I just got this, the robot can shoot, so you can aim and shoot. There's like, I don't know if you played around at all, John, with the ranged weapons. There's different grenades you can throw. So the combat is varied enough where you're peppering in different things on top of the hack and slash moves and the specials. So it's just a fun game to play with or without Eve being a sexy character. Now, of course, if she looked like shit, or the guy, if you were playing as a guy and it looked like shit, that would take
She had,
away
like, a
from the
limp.
game. Yeah, like people
Gooner is
want.
such a buzzword nowadays. They throw that at everything.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's supposed to be some insult or something, and then it's sort of like an insult to men. And I just think that as a female gamer, like, well, it doesn't work on me. So come up with something better. Tell me why I like this game, and I'll tell you why I like it, because it's a good game. And I
they're
you know,
lesbian.
Patriarch, because you're bought into the patriarchy.
that's true. Yeah, I must be. But no, so I had a good time with the game, and I think I see why it's doing so well. And you can check it out and win a copy in our Discord. From cdkeys.com. You can save like $10 or something if you don't win and you want to buy it over there as well. So Sony, like I said, had a really good launch here, even though it's just published by them. It is a Shift Up game. And Shift Up, I hope to see more from them, sequels, other games, other IPs. I know that they do the Nikki games and stuff, right? Don't they? I think they have a couple of like...
Oh, that's them. Okay.
I think it might be. Well, they gave me a skin for that game. So they're either in with them
I
or
thought
they
they
made
were.
that...
I thought they were a mobile developer.
Well, it could be. Did they? I don't know. You could look it up as I'm yapping here, but I'm pretty
That would
sure
make
they
sense.
do some of those other like sexy games or whatever. But
Oh,
like
they did Nikki and Stellar Blade. Goddess
Yeah.
of Victory, Nikki.
Yep.
Yeah.
Craigie says it has
'Cause
impressive butt technology. Yeah,
Oh, that's a mobile game though. Nikki mobile.
They were mobile. Yeah, I mean this
Nikki
is their first
mobile.
like
It's like
PC
a gotcha,
game.
right?
Yes.
All those
I think I
gotchas are
played
mobile.
one of those during our Not Safe for Work episode. You just like stare at a butt jiggling while you're shooting people. I mean,
Right.
they have a thing and it's working. Just let them do it. Like I don't know. Like they did a really good job here with this game. If it's actually their first real
Well, I remember
game.
when the Stellar Blade came out the first time, this developer was known for doing mobile games in Korea, and this was their first like true big, console game.
Korea is jumping right now. I just signed up for the Chrono Odyssey MMO. That's also Korean, and they're very big on attractive characters and character creators and all that stuff. And that's actually working and selling well. So I kind of feel like keep an eye on Korea and China, and less so on Japan in the next decade, because they're kind of killing it and they're making good stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Check
they're
out Stellar
shaping
Blade.
gaming, and other Western companies are following suit.
They're
You're
going to
seeing
have
a lot
to.
of stuff that's very similar to these Chinese games, and they're sticking with what's working, and what's working is that style. Yeah, the Korean,
it's working.
Chinese,
But like I said,
gotcha.
even look, the game is beautiful outside of that. Like I said, even if it was some dumpy male character or a cool male character, I think just the music and the world and the story, like it's a cool experience and it feels good to be in a new IP. I mean, so often we play the same old shit and it just kind of feels cool to be in a new world. So check that out. I also quickly, I don't know if you played it all, Ryan, because you were saying you might check out the Altars.
No, I didn't end up playing it. I ended up playing more of the Mimic. We'll talk about
so
that
the
later.
Altars was getting well received. It is on Game Pass, and John, you'd say Phil did it again because smaller studio, getting some positive praise here, 8s of 10s or whatever. I didn't really know what to make of this going in because it's the screenshots show you like Fallout Shelter type stuff where you're managing your spaceship, but then you're out in third person on a planet. It has a really cool artistic design, like the sci-fi, like dark sci-fi kind of feel to the game. You start up, you crash down, you're opening up pods of other people on your ship that have like may or may not be dead. I don't want to spoil anything. And some weird shit starts to go down. Like you start questioning reality, sort of determinism, free will. There's like this whole talk of a sister universe and maybe alters or clones or something like that. Like I said, don't want to spoil it too much, but you're out there sort of going between collecting stuff on the planet in third person or laying out scans or mining ore or whatever. And then you're going back to this base where you can run around. So there's like 3 different views here. Your third person running around on the planet, but also in your spaceship, it's like a top down kind of almost where you're changing levels view. But then you can also manage in like a Fallout Shelter grid system where you're building your ship
Michelle,
up.
you sent me this screenshot of the Fallout Shelter and I was so confused.
Well,
I'm like,
it's jarring.
Because it looks like
at
a
first.
mobile game. It's like, what,
Right.
what, that's the game?
That's
like,
some of the game. That's how you build and you like upgrade.
But you
and
zoom
craft.
into those rooms and then it's like third
and you
person?
walk around the rooms. Yes,
Okay,
you're walking around
okay.
the rooms, and then other times you're going down to the planet and you're collecting resources. So it doesn't.
Okay.
It
You can play
doesn't
beer
always.
pong in it too.
Yeah, it doesn't always feel like there's synergy in all of the 3 views, I have to say. And the only thing I don't like about it, and I don't want to knock the game, is that in the beginning
It's an
there's a lot of
emotional sci-fi game.
Well, I do like the story, but I don't want to give it away. But
Yeah.
like I said, they tell you to read the manuals. It's like, I got to get back. So you have to dig through the manuals and figure out how to do certain things. There's a bit of reading. Like they don't just tell you. Maybe that's better than just a tutorial. But I just found out like I wasn't in the mood. Now I'm coming off Dune Awakening, which I've still been dabbling in, which is a real hardcore survival craft. So I was like, you know what? Let me put this on the back burner. I'll check it out later. But you are doing some survival crafting down there on the planet and collecting and building. And there's a lot of managing here. Like I said, managing your spaceship. Building up, collecting, 3D printing, building certain rooms. But people are actually really interested in this game, I think, because it is unique, because it is different. Like they took 3 different gameplays like and views and put them all together and they all sort of make this one game, which may not be perfect, may not be like a 10 of 10, but cool enough to experience. So I think it's a good Game Pass game. I think if you have
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
The cover art for this game with that pink background and those dudes all laying on each other.
Well,
Are those the devs?
No. What I'm making of them is they're alternate versions of you in another dimension or the many worlds interpretation of some sort of thing going on there without spoiling anything. Because there's
Those
a
aren't the
sheep on the
devs?
ship. I mean, why would the devs be on the cover art? I mean, they could be the devs.
That's why I'm confused. Because they look like just a bunch of normal dudes like hanging out.
Yeah. Well, I don't really. They could be the devs, but in my interpretation of what I've played so far, especially because I just got a sheep on the ship, I feel like maybe there's some sort of cloning or alter, like your alter ego going on.
Yeah.
But you're trying to figure out what's happening, and the story is cool. I would love to see a movie based on this game. Alternate versions of John, Jobber says. I don't think they're John, but. Yeah, the game is cool. I haven't played enough to like say it's worth running out and doing right now, but it's a definite try. It's one to watch. It's one to get on Game Pass and 99-cent Game Pass trial or something just to check out. Like I can see where there's buzz about it. I also saw it on like CD Keys for like $20 or something. Like it's not that expensive. Once again, we're getting these quality games from smaller teams that are pretty cheap And apparently it's pretty long too. And there's like multiple playthroughs. There's like a 90-day equivalent of an entire playthrough. So every act is like a day or something. And so you like, I don't think it's real time, but like I went to bed and it's like, you are 9 days away from the sun. You're running out of time. And I'm like, okay, so there's some sort of time cycle going on. And then things are going to repeat. And it's like, I don't know. It's a pretty cool story, but it's definitely confusing. And there is some manual reading. So if you want to read the manuals, check out the altars. So anyway, really quickly, I did play a little bit of Path of Exile 1 again because they just did a big update called Secrets of the Atlas. And I checked out the Merc system, which they added in the last league. So I know mercenaries aren't something new in ARPGs, but I do like how they did it here. You get these guys, you can hire them or exile them. You can change their gear. You can upgrade their gear with currency in typical Path of Exile fashion. And I've got this dude running around with me who can tank. He's got a decoy totem. So I've been liking that. I thought it was going to feel very weird to go back to Path of Exile 1 after playing PoE 2 because you don't have Wasti, you don't have a role, but it's a totally different beast in a way that I still really like. So if you've never played Path of Exile, it's as good a time as any to try it right now while you're waiting for PoE 2 to be done. It's still good. It's still free, and they're still updating.
So you'd recommend
leagues.
people play 1 now first, or just go right to 2
I think
and enjoy
you
what's
have
there?
to play both of them. Well,
Okay.
I don't recommend 2 right now because it's not done. For me, it is probably the better game, right?
But there's a ton of content, though, right? Even if it's not
there's
done.
half the acts. So why would somebody who's not a hardcore ARPG player do it right now? If I would not recommend it. I think if you're new to the genre and you would wait till all of the acts and all of the classes and all of the ascendancies are in. But PoE 2 feels damn good and damn polished. And PoE 1 is older and jankier, but it's still, I may like
done.
it better in some ways. It's done, right? There's endless content and, you know, you're not going to get, I mean, they're still adding new things though. They're still adding new systems. That's the cool thing about grinding gear. Like they're never really done and these games are supported. So do I recommend people play 1? Maybe if you guys can wait like a year for PoE 2 to be done. Don't just jump in and play PoE 2 and then get upset that you have to do the first 3 acts twice and that they don't have the class you want in because it's not done, you know? And I really do think people should wait till
When's
it's done.
it supposed to be done?
I mean, they don't give an exact date, but I think it's supposed to be within a year. But I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see, right? But you know, Derek says, well, now you tell me. Well, I think you won from us, right? You won from us because PoE 2 will be free when it launches. It's not right now. You could pick up a key for like $17, but it will be totally free when it launches. But if you buy it right now, not a big deal because you get currency that you can buy tabs with. But let's say, you know, you're new to ARPGs. Maybe you dabbled a little in Diablo. I think wait till PoE 2 is done and play that one. And if you're bored in the meantime, do check out PoE 1. I know it's intimidating, but I feel like it's still good for you to get an idea of the world and the currency. They really streamlined it all in PoE 2 though, like gearing and gems and all this shit. It's just a lot more polished. I think it's the better game for many people. And then finally, I played a little bit more Night Rain, Elden Ring, which we've talked about a lot. I do recommend doing
Did
those.
you finish?
I killed the Night Lord early on. I haven't done all the
Oh, right,
resemblances.
that's right.
Which is what I wanted to bring up. Like were they called remembrances? I think they are. Like
remembrances.
Yeah. In the journal. Like a lot of people I play with, like they haven't even done them, and I'm like, you've got to stop and do those for your character. You get great relics, and they're also just fun. I would love to see a spin-off game, kind of more like that. Which I don't know. It gave you like character background, and the settings were cool. And I just want to kind of go through the characters and do their remembrances. So there's a lot going on in Night Rain. I know it's not perfect. We talked about some of the flaws, the jankiness of the game, but I do recommend still playing that.
Yeah.
So anyway,
they did fix the matchmaking and all that stuff.
Duos
and,
isn't
and like
it
you
yet,
said,
though,
with those
right?
characters' remembrances, you don't get that sort of thing in Elden Ring with the story and all that. So they kind of put
liked
it in
it.
here for that kind of thing. It is nice, yeah. It actually is. 'Cause
I really hope
when I
we
stuck with
see
the
that.
Raider, yeah.
Like see more of a story game from FromSoft at some point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not Elden Ring, but
Hey.
more like an advent, like a God of War style game or something like that. I don't know, like however the remembrances feel, like more of a, I don't know, linear kind of story driven experience. Because I think that there's room for that too in the Elden Ring world, or at least in the FromSoft world. So anyway, check out Night Rain if you haven't. Even if you don't play with people at this point, I think solo queue has been fixed. Duos is coming, so it's a good game. I'm just drinking tea Java unsweetened lemon black iced tea. In the glass bottle, it tastes better. All right, John, you had a busy week of gaming. Tell us all about it.
I did.
Busy.
I did some dabbling.
Oh,
I dabbled. I tried stuff. I played a couple games the most, for sure.
okay.
You went back to Call of Duty, didn't you?
I did not.
All right, good. That's a good thing. I want to hear about some new stuff because there has been some new things that came out last week.
Yeah, well, I mean, very quickly, I'm going to just mention Cast and Chill because I played that demo and they had like some fishing event going on with Steam right now where they're featuring all these fishing games.
Yep.
And so Cast and Chill just came out. This was a game I played a few weeks ago. I played the demo and the full version's out. I bought it. It's like $13. I played that for a couple hours last night and they actually really improved the demo. Like they changed the whole fishing mechanic, like how it works. You have a little more control when you're casting because before you would just cast and reel in. Now you can cast and like let the line out and make the the lure go lower and stuff. I really feel like the synergy between the lures and the fish, like you had to just like if you see, oh, that's a walleye, that's a bass. I got to make sure I have the right lure.
Is this an idle game?
There is an idle mode that I don't fully understand how it works. You just push it and then he just starts fishing. But no, it's not an idle game. It's an active fishing game. And you're basically just trying to level up all your gear by catching fish, selling them at the bait shop. The guy gives you money. You buy better lures. You buy a better rod. You buy better line. And then you can upgrade your boat. And then eventually you'll get fishing passes to other regions. And that was not in the demo. So now I can go to other places, which I'm going to do soon. So I really like that game quite a bit. I think it's great. It's Cast and Chill.
I love it too. It looks really good for like a nice Steam Deck and chill game.
Yeah.
People
and it's got like
it's pretty popular right now.
Yeah, I like it quite a bit actually. And it has a very lo-fi like MS-DOS, like 4-bit style that I think really works. I like it a lot. I did try Gears of War Reloaded like quickly. And I have to admit, I'm just going to say this, I don't really care about Gears of War anymore. I'm sorry. I don't.
All right.
Like, Ryan, are you into Gears of War? Are you excited about this, re-release of the original
was excited.
game?
I had a lot going on with gaming this week, so I didn't even go that direction. But I definitely think I'm going to try it because I was a big Gears of War fan back on the Xbox 360. Like
I was
when
too.
That game came out, it like changed gaming as we knew it. Right?
It really did. And we used to have events all the time. Michelle was part of that. Well, back in the day, and this is just
I only played that once.
I remember you playing these events.
I didn't like. Well, my boyfriend at the time was into the events, and I would make fun of him. But I don't. Really, I never loved Gears of War, so I can't be excited about this. I was never a Gears of War player. It was always these big hulking dudes and this cover system.
Well, that's what it is. These football guys. So if you're not familiar with Gears of War, what I played was.
You're saying if they put a sexy lady in the front with her
if
ass
I could play as myself and collect shoes, I would be happier. No, I just I've always liked when it came to shooters back then. John, and you too. I played Ghost Recon. I played Rainbow Six. I liked more of that speed instead of an arcadey shooter.
I don't know if arcadey's the correct word.
More arcadey than old Ghost Recon used to be.
So the big deal about the game
is very linear.
It has a cover system, right? And so you've got people hiding behind shit nonstop, and it's a big peekaboo game. You pop out, you blast them in the face with a shotgun.
Whack-a-mole.
Yeah, you wound them. You got to finish them off by stepping on them or killing them. With the gun again. It's 4v4. That's what I play. Team deathmatch. It just felt basic compared to stuff we're doing today, but it's all about the movement. Like you have like this, football run that you're doing down, the lane, and you have like this camera behind the guy that's like it looks like someone's following him with a camera on foot. It's like it looks like some kind of like documentary series or something.
Do you get sick like head bobbing? Is it like bouncing as you're running? Because that's what I'm picturing.
That's what it is. So, like you're just running along on this whatever you want to call it. It's like a football run, with the camera just bobbing all around the guy. And that's how you run around the map, and you go into cover, you have a chainsaw, whatever. I honestly, I'm not that interested in it. I know that they like the graphics, it's like 4K 120, like on the Xbox and stuff. So, but it still looks like an old game to me. Like
Did you play online?
I played online on the Xbox, yeah.
So I've heard like all the vets coming from the old this too. Gears of War games are coming in and
stomping the PlayStation
yeah,
people.
The strategy online is to like swap between cover really fast, and so that your opponent can't even shoot at you. And that's how the competitive of the game was. It's just
Right.
who can shoot you while out of cover faster, and it's just nonstop spamming cover, and everyone's like, "Oh, this sucks! All the veterans and the sweats ruined the game for us."
I think it's true. I'm like, but and I also heard that people were like saying, "Oh, we're gonna kill all these PlayStation people who never played this game before. Like we know how to do all that." Yeah. All right, and then as far as dabbling, Michelle, just very quick, I tried FBC Firebreak just to see what it was
Game
about.
Pass and it's PS Premium. It's getting shit on online.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I did not play it properly. I just wanted to see what it was like. It's a 3-player co-op game, and I played solo by myself. And
Right.
I would like to maybe try this with Matt McCarthy just to kind of understand it more. But basically, what I experienced was you go into this like factory or something that's like overheating. It's like melting, like a nuclear whatever core is breaking down. You have to cool everything off, and then you have like these zombies that are basically trying to kill all your generators and stuff that's keeping the place cool. And you're going around repairing shit, killing zombies. They come in waves. That's what I experienced. And the zombies look stupid, but the gameplay seemed okay. There's only 3 people to choose from, 3 classes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it
Kind
has.
of reminds me of Back for Blood. You remember when that came out, Back for Blood, and
Yeah.
that other game by Arcane, that one that flopped?
Well, this takes place after the events of Control. It's from Remedy, who did Control, and it's in the same universe. So that might be a draw, I
Yeah.
guess, if you liked Control. But people are saying it's just not complete. It's janky. Doesn't feel good shooting wise. So
Yeah, and it didn't seem like there was a lot of options and stuff for different classes and
Yeah.
characters too.
yeah,
Like it was very like there's 3
kinda
classes and 3 characters and 3 players. So if you like one,
Yeah.
it's like
I guess I got this one. Yep.
I know. All right.
Everyone seems to be saying it's pretty simple and straightforward. All the negative reviews are from sub 2 hours in the game, and you got to get further. But really, when you get further, there's not much to do with your build. Like John's saying, there's
Yep.
there's only a couple things to grab and use. It's interesting.
You come into a competitive shooter space or this sort of genre, you have to bring it. It has to be fun right away, and they just didn't.
Yeah.
Right. But again, I only played it by myself, so I didn't even get to experience the game really, All right, let's talk about Mind's Eye.
All right. The most
Okay, so-
negative reviewed game ever on Metacritic or something.
No way.
I
right,
saw some
so-
article like that.
Okay, so I talked myself out of buying this game probably 3-4 times, okay? Because I kept seeing all the negative reviews, okay? But I knew going in, I'm like, this sounds like a game I should be playing, First of all, it's ex-Rockstar president
I thought
made
producer.
this game. No, he's a president of Rockstar North.
Didn't he leave?
He did. He was involved. Yeah. Well, he kind of got kicked out, I think. Leslie Benzies. So he was the president of Rockstar North. Okay. And he was involved in everything like Grand Theft Auto 3, 4, 5, Red Dead Redemption, like LA Noire. Like he was the producer on all of those games. So this guy's got a pedigree, right? He's not just some schmuck. And knowing
Producers
that
don't have creative impact, though. This was his creative baby, this game, supposedly.
well, he was the president of Rockstar. Okay, so Rockstar North. Okay,
right.
there's different divisions, right?
I have my bag of tricks, Jedi. Don't worry.
I know Michelle does. Okay, so but this game was getting ripped to shreds,
Yeah.
saying it's the worst fucking game ever. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at the previews, the videos, the trailers. I'm like, this looks like something I want to play.
Yeah,
It
like
looks
cyberpunky.
Cyberpunk, GTA, and I caved. I'm like, I'm fucking buying it. I don't care. I want to see what the negative shit's about. Well, I could tell you that a big part of the negativity is the performance, without a doubt. Okay, so, and let me explain what this game is. So it is a camp. Okay, what is out right now is a campaign. The open world stuff, the multiplayer stuff is coming later. There is an open world mode, a free roam mode that you can unlock after 6 hours of play. But when you're doing that mode, nothing is happening. You're just literally walking around the world And you can't, there's no cops, by the way. Like, you can start shooting pedestrians and blowing up cars and crashing into people, and there's no consequences in that mode.
So it's stripped down Grand Theft Auto, essentially.
Well, it is in that the free roam mode that you can unlock.
There's a campaign mode with many hours of gameplay.
But the campaign mode is really what they released, and then they put this other shit in there just to kind of give you a taste of what's to come. And there's also a build mode that allows you to create your own levels, or challenges. Like, you can have like car races or drone races. You can, just make a complex with a bunch of enemies, and you just go through and try to kill them all in a certain amount of time, and you can share these with other people. Now, as far as I can tell, the ability to play other people's stuff is not in there yet because I can't find it. But there's curated ones that they made you can play. So you can play these little scenarios that they made. But the campaign is really what you're buying the game for right now, and you need to know that going in. And the campaign is not bad. Besides performance, it reminds me a lot about Cyberpunk when it came out. Because when Cyberpunk came out, I loved it, and everybody was shitting on it. And it was mostly because of performance. And
if you have a console, it's bad, I've heard, or older PCs.
Yeah.
So you're probably doing okay-ish with yours. But
I'm doing okay-ish. Listen, the frames drip to 20. They drip, they drop down to 20 or 30 or 25 or 22.
Are you running an upscaling on it, or what does it support?
I'm running DLS. DLSS. I'm using balanced right now, and everything's on high.
But see which version. If it doesn't have force, see if you could force it. But yeah, that's bad. I mean, performance is bad for a lot of people on console, I've heard too.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of the negativity.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting is they advertise this as an open world. I did not get campaign from any of their advertising.
Well,
it totally seems like they're kind of shifting back towards no. This game is a campaign, and
right
our
now,
open world section's coming. Yeah,
right now.
But John, you know exactly what they were going for with that game.
Well, what I heard is that they thought that GTA 6 was coming out this year, and they were trying to get a jump on them. And then Rockstar pulled the rug out from underneath them and said, "Nope, we're not coming out this year." And they might have rushed this to release because they didn't want to go head to head with GTA. That's my theory.
What about what everybody's been saying
be real, it
about
was not going head to head.
The president, he kind of walked these comments back, but this dude you're talking about was like, I know that bots were hired. There is a concerted effort to take down this game. Exactly. And this is, they want this game to fail. This isn't real. Did you do any digging on that?
You were saying everyone was paid to shit on it, and then people were paid
but then he
to
walked
blow
it
it
back.
up.
He's like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that bots do exist.
He did. He thought it was a hit job. That Rockstar wanted to take this shit down because they don't like this guy for whatever reason, even though he was involved in all their biggest games.
But they hated him and he left on bad terms. So like, we're really going to get this guy. We're going to hire a bot farm to give him negative reviews. They did pay a lot of people, and then they canceled Cole Carnage. I think was supposed to do like a big event with them, and they canceled it. They were paying like people to review their game, and then they were like, let's just not do that. So a lot of people were coming down on creators saying it was a 10 of 10 or whatever.
Some of these reviews are just straight up like movie quotes, and it's like advertising the greatest action RPG of all time, and it's like
RPG.
You see some of the gameplay, and it's like it looks okay, but it's definitely not.
I don't know. Look, I have to say,
there's no RPG. There's no RPG in this.
So then what is it? What's the campaign if it's not an RPG?
So the campaign is it's a cover third-person shooter. That's what it is. Okay,
with no story.
No, the story's great, actually. The story's interesting. So you play as this guy, Diaz, who is a former military guy, okay? And he has a chip on his neck that is the mind's eye, okay?
Would you say you're role-playing as this guy?
You're the guy. What do you mean
Does he have points? Role-playing
It's an RPG.
Points you can allocate. Does he level?
No, none of that. No, none of that. So you play as this guy, Diaz. He's a former soldier. He was involved in some weird, espionage shit, top secret stuff with like aliens and pyramids. I think they kind of did some cutscenes in the beginning, and now he's like he forgot everything. He doesn't remember a goddamn thing. He's got this chip in his neck that's supposedly deactivated, and that's the mind's eye. And the mind's eye is a chip that's implanted into people that allow you to interact with machines and control them. Like drones or whatever. But he kind of has this, like, it's almost like a scarlet letter. Like, people are just like scared of him because he's one of them that has this chip, right?
Didn't she fuck somebody? Wasn't that the Scarlet Letter? I don't think this is quite the same thing.
Whatever. It's something on the person that makes them bad, right? You know, like the scarlet letter.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, like the star on the bellies of the Dr. Seuss thingies when I was a kid.
Yes.
Snuffle.
So he doesn't remember a goddamn thing, and he keeps having these flashbacks. He doesn't understand who he is or what he did and all this shit. But he gets hired by this private corporation, which is run by this Elon Musk type guy.
So you want Tom Cruise to play him in a movie and make this, is what I'm hearing.
Yes. Okay, and so this...
Not Keanu Reeves? No.
So he's hired by this company called like Silva. They're very much like Tesla. Okay, they make cars, they make rockets, they make robots, they make the chip that's on his neck. Okay.
Right.
So they're involved in all this stuff, and they're basically the owner of the company, who's like Elon Musk, is battling out with the mayor of this town, which is a fake Las Vegas that has no more casinos. It's just a town now. And so he wants to launch rockets out of this town, and he's trying to get the mayor to approve it. And there's all this shit going on, and he's kind of being double crossed and all this, and he doesn't really know how he fits into this whole puzzle, right? But he's thrown into it
and acted. Period. I have to say, like, I watched a little of it. It didn't look as horrible as I was hearing.
No, the character model. Listen, this is not a small budget game. I know it's fucked up and it's not done, but there's a lot going on here. The assets are great. The characters look great. The voice acting
Will
decent.
they keep fixing it?
I don't know. That's the thing.
I heard it was supposed to be a big money grab. Like they were getting money from this game to dump into. I forget the name of the other game.
Well, supposedly in the fall is when all that stuff's going to come out. There's supposed to be online multiplayer co-op in the free roam mode, like GTA Online. I don't know. But there's nothing to do in the free roam open world right now. You just walk around, and there's no consequences for killing people and blowing shit up.
Dude. Grand Theft Auto is coming out. They're going to have an open world with a bunch of stuff to do.
This story is reminding me a lot about Cyberpunk, like the dystopian thing, the chip in the neck, the identity crisis.
So much like Cyberpunk, I can't tell you. Like from the interface, the little icons everywhere.
But Cyberpunk was an RPG. There were levels.
It was an RPG.
There were talent trees. There were mods on your neck. So this kind of feels like bare bones.
It's bare bones. Like you can't customize the character. You can't like buy a car. You can't buy a gun. You're basically killing people and picking up their guns. Like that's all I've experienced.
People flying drones
like
for like an hour.
The epitome of.
Yeah, so I did some levels where I fly a flying drone car, which was actually really badass, like a helicopter. Okay. That was really fun. I did some missions where I controlled drones and went through like vents and stuff to break into an apartment and find clues. Like I've done some really fun stuff. Like I like the single player campaign quite a bit. Like I really do.
Good. So you feel it's worth $60, or you wish it was kind of cheaper to get now?
I think it's going to be cheaper eventually, like for sure. But if you're going to buy this game, just know that it runs like a pretty bad at times, like not game breaking, but the frame rate does drop in the 20s. It does, and then it comes back up to the 60s. I get stutters, but Cyberpunk was kind of like that in the beginning too, and I stuck with it. And then like, I'll tell you this,
but that's not good. That's like. You can't be. I know all these people releasing these undercooked games.
Yeah,
like, they need better. Pay their engineers better to get better talent. Yeah. I don't think the West knows how to work with Unreal 5. I mean,
well, I think that's what it is. It's not Unreal 5 slop, but
but like, slop. That's because of the people working on it. The engine's great and when used well, it's done well. So,
but what I want to say though is that the first day I played it, it ran really bad, and in the last week, like today when I played it. It's running better, and there's been big updates.
Update it. Yeah, they rushed it out.
So it's getting better, like already. So it really reminds me of Cyberpunk. Just the game itself, and the release and the performance. It just reminds me of that same kind of vibe that was going on with Cyberpunk, where everybody was shitting on Cyberpunk. If you remember, like.
I remember.
People were really
but I never had a
shitting
problem with Cyberpunk with my
Neither did I.
3080, but it's everybody's different experience. It was really bad on like PS4s or something. People had like
I had a 3080 at the time too, and it did not hold up with on my computer at the time.
Well, your CPU could factor in as well. I don't know if you're playing 4K.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm on ultra wide, but I mean, it wasn't that bad as people make it. A lot of these screenshots, look how bad this game is, and you look and it's like, dude, you got a 970. But in this case, John, it does seem like there's some legitimate criticism here. It's not all
with performance, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and the game itself, it's half there. It's $60.
well, the
You can't really do
campaign
much.
is fine.
Yeah.
It's the other stuff. Like, I fooled around with the build mode. Like, I made a level and stuff, and
Okay.
and like, okay, I didn't really. I don't
Is
really
that
want
there for the community to like do the dev's job for them? Like, here's the tools, make our game for
It's
us.
just a level maker, right?
It's a level
it could be a
maker.
good thing, but,
But
right
you,
now
but
it's
the
not
game
if it
being
doesn't
bare
work.
bones, it's like you have a custom mode ready before your open
Yeah.
world mode is ready. Like,
Yeah,
Right.
focus. Yeah.
They want to empower the players, Michelle.
Yeah. Well, finish
Have
the.
them-
It sounds
They
like they
did too
could have had a
much.
cool campaign. Exactly. They did too much.
Yeah.
Forget the open world. Forget the level editor. Why didn't you guys just do a cool campaign? Sounds like that's what you like, John, is that aspect.
yeah, with plans to add.
Well,
things in the
that's all I
future.
like about it right now is the campaign, and I'm
Right.
okay with that right now.
Okay.
I don't feel butthurt buying this at all.
There's a couple of
I
people
just
in our
don't.
community that say they like it. They're having fun. Shout out
Yeah.
Accused. I think Ghost just said it. So
Yeah.
like, I don't.
I don't
Maybe?
feel butthurt at all.
Okay.
I like it quite a bit. And the thing is, I was thinking, like, would I even want to do the online stuff? Probably not. Now, the free roam, that interests me, though. Like, a real free roam mode where I can just have a playground. Like, I want to see where that goes. Because that's why I like my favorite thing in GTA is to just stop playing the missions, the quests, and start just fucking around. You know,
Yeah.
let's go find a helicopter. Let's start blowing up cars. Let's see how long I can survive before the cops kill me. Like, I love that about GTA. So, I don't know. I
Sounds
mean,
like it's not as
I would
bad as
say
it is, but-
if you're worried,
Yeah.
don't buy it. If you're interested in the campaign, maybe wait till it's cheaper.
Yeah,
That's all I
they're
can say.
constantly
We're done.
updating and it goes down in price. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be good.
All right, that's it for me. I'm drinking a natural light.
All right, we are going to take a quick break here. Remember, if you want ad-free VGO, the 20-year back catalog, and weekly bonus shows from John and I, and yes, we do an extra weekly bonus show in our Discord. You can do that in our Discord by supporting us or on our app at videogameoutsiders.com.
All right, Ryan, tell me what's going on over there.
What is going on? So, I bought the Switch 2. I got
Yes.
it. My pops ended up going in the middle of the day while I was at work, and he got one of the last two remaining consoles because the thing sold out so hot, so fast.
It did.
Everybody and their mother wanted one. Honestly, I'm loving it. I went in with expectations of just being the next upgraded version of the Switch, and that's exactly what I got. It runs fantastic. It runs all the old games. I booted up Zelda. I booted up the old Pokemon games that all ran semi good, kind of poorly on the original Switch, and they're all upgraded. Like even without, well, not Zelda. So Pokemon got a free upgrade.
What do you mean not Zelda?
Even no, Zelda was paid. I'm just saying like the ones that
Oh.
were just upgraded with the hardware, like like a PC would.
Sure.
They run fantastic. All the old ones that ran like shit run amazing. And John, I have a little bone to pick because you said last week or 2 weeks ago, last week, that the screen was not comparable. So that you said it was trash. I have to say
Compared to the
other way, man.
OLED?
I put them side by side. Literally, the only difference
The
is
contrast, the
blacks.
black. Yeah.
The blacks, which is what you buy an OLED for, of course.
Right.
I love OLED screens, but it's a great quality LCD, and like I normally try to stay away.
Well, I'm
from
glad
that
to
kind of
hear
thing.
that.
I really. It's a solid device. The Joy-Cons
Because you play
do
mostly
not jiggle.
handheld, right? Whereas John's like a TV guy.
I normally, but with this console, I've been playing with my old Pro controllers. Me and my fiance were playing a ton of Mario Kart, like nonstop all week. We've 3-starred like half the maps in the game, but it's mostly been in docked. The handheld experiences for me come with mostly single player games, and of course,
Right.
as you know, the library is very small unless I go back and play some older Switch titles that I have. Very small as in one. Now,
Right.
that's one of the biggest downsides is you only have Mario Kart. I don't want to play Zelda again, sadly. Great, fantastic game. Love it. One of my top 10 games of all time.
Which Zelda
I don't
did
wanna-
you try? Or you didn't try it, or you did?
I loaded them both up to see how well they performed, and they both performed great. Like
With the
way better
upgrade.
than they did.
And you
before.
got the
Yes.
upgrade. Okay.
Yeah, I have Nintendo Online. So
Yeah, because I haven't tried it. And I played Splatoon 3 over the weekend,
right.
and that looks way better and plays way
yeah,
better
I can
too.
imagine.
Like, they're doing a lot of free upgrades. They're not all part of the expansion pack, like Splatoon 3 and Pokemon and all that, right? So,
But I've been seeing a lot of people going back and trying a lot of old games that weren't mentioned in the upgrade, and they are all running better. Like Bayonetta is actually running at a steady 60 frames per second, and there was another title like a Grand Theft Auto clone type thing that was running at a 60 frames, and people are loving it. And I truly feel that the hate like pre-release was forced. It was these crowd mentalities coming in the comment section saying, no, it's crap. You're not paying $600 for a second generation Switch labeled as the Switch 2, blah, 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 all this crap. I truly think if you're a Nintendo fan, you had your expectations right, this is exactly what you expected coming into it.
I don't know. I know a lot of hardcore Nintendo
Kart.
fans who put Zelda on as their top 5 games, and they're saying, I'm waiting until there's more games I want to play. I think Mario Kart is the thing.
I don't
if
blame
you want to
them.
play Mario Kart, it sounds like Mario Kart delivered. John, you were even liking it, and you
did.
weren't a Mario Kart guy. But
I mean, I haven't talked about it, but that is the game I played the most this week.
Yeah.
Was Mario Kart.
Yeah.
That is.
But
I
if
mean,
you're waiting,
it's
like
deep.
for me,
It's way deeper than the previous ones
if
with
this
that free
launched
roam.
with a new Zelda, you know, and a new Animal Crossing, I might be like, do I want to do? So I think like I get where people are coming from on both ends, and it sounds like it's a Switch
I
Pro,
do
as
too.
Cranky is saying, like it's more powerful. It's going to run everything better, even if it doesn't get updated. It's still a more powerful system that's going to run the games better because it's just better hardware.
And I do think it's that Nintendo strategy. They started with Mario Kart, and every 2 months here on until the end of its life cycle, they're going to have a big title release. And the next one's Donkey Kong. The one after that is Pokemon and Metroid, and they're going to have a massive Christmas release, right?
agree.
Like, and I think it's a shitty way to do it, but that's how Nintendo's going about it. They could have. Maybe they thought like releasing 2 big titles at launch would take away from one or the other, which I don't think so, because like you said,
But
Nintendo
here's the
fans
thing,
will
though.
buy it. They'll play anything that Nintendo spits out, including
Right.
myself. And it's
But I do want to say a couple things real quick.
Including
First
the
of all,
tutorial game they'll buy.
well, that was
I
stupid.
will buy that.
Mario Kart World sold way more than Breath of the Wild, by the way, at launch.
Really?
Just so we're clear, okay? And also,
But it's got the bundle thing with it. Mario Kart 8 was the
Sure,
best selling
of course.
game on the
They-
Switch because it was bundled with the Switch for the entire
these are
life
metrics
cycle.
that people pick and pull. I mean, Zelda.
but these are actual
Yeah.
numbers, though. The numbers are the numbers, right?
Well,
so,
at the launch, they maybe had more available, and they were Mario bundles, so therefore more sold. Because I remember
Well,
everyone
and
who
also,
owned 99% of
Mario
people who owned a
Kart-
Switch bought Zelda. It was just that
yeah,
not
but
enough people owned
Mario
it.
Kart was the number one selling game on the first Switch. So the math is the math. Mario
Yeah, but
Kart is
because
number
it came
one
with the Switch,
No,
which was
on
the
the
best selling
on-
console.
No, on the first Switch, Mario Kart 8 was the best selling game. The end.
Because Zelda
It's
came out for like 2 different things, right? Wii and Zelda. The Wii U, was it? Didn't Zelda come out for 2
it came
systems?
out for the Wii U, and yes,
Yeah.
it did. But it
I
came
mean-
out on the Switch, not on the Wii U. It came out simultaneously.
All I
for
know
the
is
Wii
there
U.
was one
Yeah.
point where they said 99.9% of people who have a Switch own Zelda and purchase Zelda. Like it was.
But Mario
Yeah.
Kart
I
is the number
believe
one
it.
selling game on the first Switch. But whatever.
So 100% of the.
But here's the thing, though. We're getting a really big game in a few weeks. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
In-
not
in a
everyone's
way-
cup of tea. It's not truly a Mario or a Zelda, which is still
No, it's
like
not.
Donkey
but
Kong
Nintendo's
is
not everyone's cup of tea anyway.
No,
It's
but I know
never been that
hardcore
way.
Nintendo fans who are waiting, and I don't like this narrative where if you're not a Nintendo fan, if you're waiting for the OLED,
No,
or you're
I don't
waiting
agree
for the
with
next
that at
Zelda,
all.
you're not a
Yeah.
Nintendo
You
fan
can
and you're
wait.
just a hater. No, like people have legitimate reasons to say, this ain't enough for me right now. This is.
I
it ain't
100%
there,
agree with you, Michelle.
That's all. I mean, are you
Absolutely.
excited for Donkey Kong? Are you going to roundtable with John, or is it not your really thing?
I'll play it. I know
Okay.
someone else in my house is going to play the hell out of that game, but I'll definitely be playing
All right,
it.
good. Well, I'm curious about that because John, they change up Donkey Kong a lot, right? Like every time they do one, it's a little different. I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
well, it's a 3D adventure something platforming.
This one's more along the lines of Mario Odyssey, but the Donkey Kong version of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's made by the same team. So I think
Yeah,
it's
John
going to be
could really like
a
that.
big. I think I'm going to love it. Like I love
Yeah.
Donkey Kong 64. That was made by Rare, though, who I love, who also made Banjo Kazooie.
Right.
So you know,
So you
Did you play
loving
Tropical
Mario
Freeze,
Kart.
John?
I did, yeah.
That's
I
a good
don't-
game.
I
That's
mean,
a
I
really
don't
good game.
love those Donkey Kongs as much as like, I guess Donkey Kong 64. But
Yeah,
yeah,
of course.
like I love the Rare ones on the Super Nintendo, and I finished both of those games back in the day, and I played all the ones that have come out since. But at the end of the day, I like 3D platformers. That's my genre.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Odyssey. That was a fantastic
I
game.
loved
Beat it.
Odyssey.
multiple times. Now, the one thing I don't like people are saying, and this is going to come off as a Nintendo dick rider, but people are saying that Nintendo games don't have the depth. And hell no. If that's what you're trying to use as
Mario
an argument,
Kart's crazy, dude.
Every single game, first IP Nintendo game, is hundreds of hours. Mario Odyssey, you got Mario Kart, the Zelda games, the Pokemon games. They all have hundreds of hours of replayability in them, and
So does
they
Bejeweled.
compete
I think
with
depth and hours played, maybe what people are saying. Like they want, like Mario Kart.
There's
I've heard
tons of
it's too
depth to
easy
Mario
this time
Kart.
around.
There's so much depth.
They got rid of one of the
150 is
harder
pretty
races.
challenging. 150 is
It's a
challenging.
pain in the ass.
150 is hard as fuck.
It took me like I want to say over 20 tries to get so in knockout you have to come first in all 5 races, I believe it is, in that stretch to
not
get
easy.
3 stars and a gold
There's not
trophy.
just a turtle who comes up behind your ass and blows you into first place,
In,
like when I
in the
played
lower,
Mario
in the
Kart.
lower,
So
and the
freaking
in
crazy.
50 and 100, that's kind of the case. Like,
Okay.
but not 150.
So there's
in
some
150
challenge
you
for you
get
where you feel like
slammed.
it's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I feel like I have to learn like these little
All the
skips
moves.
or the rail riding and
Yes.
the wall riding moves, and it is intense. And you could be in first by a landslide and get smashed with shells.
A blue
and
shell and
suddenly
you're done.
in 10th, and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, there goes my 3 stars. I can't get first on this lap. Might as well reset it. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of unlockables in that game. The open world has 400 P buttons. I think another like 200 or 300 Peach coins. The question mark blocks are everywhere. You can unlock mirrored mode. It takes a long time
That's
to
what
unlock
I'm
a lot
working
of the
on.
characters. It's based on randomness, but you can kind of track them down if you want to. If you know which one you're after, you can go to that world and race it over and over again until you unlock it.
And there's
Great
tons
game.
of outfits for the characters.
Tons of outfits, and they all look really cool. But yeah, I agree with you, Michelle. Not everybody needs to buy it day one. No, absolutely not. Especially if Mario Kart's the only game. If you're waiting for an OLED, or if you're waiting for Pokemon, or whatever it is you're waiting for, you have every right to do so. But they will eventually buy it if they like Nintendo. I
Maybe.
wouldn't say Mario Kart
I
and
don't
this
know.
decision to have one game was the best choice, but
Oh, it's working
it's
for
a
them. They
great
sold out
console.
what they made, right? I mean, I know they're popping up again. There are some available in my area in Best Buy, but I mean,
Yeah.
if you wanted one and you pre-ordered, you were able to get it, and the people who did seem to be mostly pleased. I know there's a big trend going on right now with Nintendo Switch regret YouTube videos,
Nah.
but reality is you and John are happy. Our listeners seem mostly happy, so sounds like
I
a
just
good
got
launch.
an email from Amazon today for my console. They're like, you got invited to, because I submitted for an invite. They're like, you want to wait in line until we have them, and then they sent me an email saying, here, come buy one. We have more. So Amazon has some. Don't know if you have to be on a list or anything, but
Yeah, they apparently made a fuck
Ooh.
ton. So,
yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good.
but
All right, well, you'll be covering Switch
I just
with
want to go
John.
back to Mario Kart though. Like
Oh,
I'm
boy.
right now. I'm
Okay.
trying to unlock the mirror mode, and that's
Yeah.
just fun in itself. Like if you have to get basically just finish the Grand Prix and the knockout mode,
Yep.
and then find
And collect a few things. Yeah.
10 peach coins, 10 switches, and I think that's about it, right? And then you get it. I don't even want the mirror
Yeah.
mode, but it's just something to do.
It was exactly. It was a little unclear on how to unlock it at first, but I think
Yeah.
you get a little bit of each item in the open world, do all the Grand Prix, do all the knockouts, and then complete the last special cup one more time, and boom, you do a cutscene and you unlock mirror mode.
Right.
And mirror open world too. There's a little.
good. I
you
hope
can
both
go
of
into
you
the
play
peach painting and all that.
in the event
The
on
open
July
world
6th.
is
Let's see if
so
John's
fun.
good. You guys have been
I've
practicing.
actually spent the least time in the open world, but yeah, John,
Yeah,
you better come out and play. Tournament July 6th, Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern. It's on.
Sign up.
Prizes
Discord.
to be won. Sign up in the
That's
Discord.
right. What else? I know
Other
you're,
than that,
you're
though-
into Five Nights, right? And all that stuff.
Yeah, so the long anticipated Five Nights at Freddy's made its way to Dead by Daylight today, actually, and Springtrap is the killer with a bunch of legendary cosmetics from all the different games. Now, I don't know if you two have played any of the Five Nights at Freddy's, like at all.
No.
John,
A
Michelle?
little bit a long time ago when they came out, but they've been more crazed for, I feel like, other people other than me. Like, it's a whole world. I know Matt was really into them with his
It
kids.
is.
Because that Five
So the
Nights at Freddy's
original
Secrets of
ones
the
are-
Mimic came out too at the same time as the Dead by Daylight event with
Yes,
Five
so-
Nights. So there's a thing happening right now.
Got a whole thing to talk about with that.
Okay.
But the older games are what kind of got me into it. I really like the original games. A few years ago, Security Breach came out, and it was the first 3D kind of game that they've made. And Steel Wool is the devs. They made this open world, very similar to Poppy's Playtime with the puzzles and the jump scares. You got these animatronic things chasing you around, and there's a bit of a story going on there. First one more revolved around Freddy and all that.
The cameras and all that. I mean, it was innovative at the time. I know it's on everything on mobile and all that shit.
But they stepped away from that with the 3D ones. There's not really any cameras or anything. It's more so just open world puzzles, and you kind of navigate your way through these mazes and all that, and the story. Secrets of the Mimic released Friday, I think, with next to zero marketing. I heard about this game months ago at some event. I was like, oh, cool. I'll play another Five Nights at Freddy's game. Had no idea it came out Friday. Got home from work, and I was like, oh, this game released with no marketing? In Dead by Daylight's doing better marketing job with their FNAF chapter. Like, anyways, played some of the Secrets of the Mimic. A lot of resemblance to Security Breach. Poor performance, honestly, and Security Breach was known for that too from the get-go, and they did end up fixing it. Yeah, it performed like absolute crap.
It's not even that graphically intensive.
No, it's not. It was just very poorly optimized.
Okay.
Same thing kind of with this. It does perform a lot better, but I noticed when I loaded into the game, before you enter this factory, so this one's about the Mimic. The Mimic is an animatronic that can fit into any costume and then like take on the persona of that costume, and it's kind of gone rogue in this costume factory. So you start at the beginning of the game, you're outside of this factory, and it looks like PS2 graphics on the outside.
On purpose?
Then, I don't know. I think they just might have like left it like that because the entire game is played inside the factory. Like you didn't really need to be on the outside. But once you get in, I'm like, okay, now this looks a lot more like Security Breach. So it's you're navigating through this factory trying to find the Mimic. You're hiding from the animatronics and the Mimic, and there's a cool story that goes along with it. A lot of puzzles, very Poppy's Playtime, which did come out before Security Breach, so it's kind of like they were hand in hand here. They're very much resemble each other. But cool game. I'm going to go back to it. I didn't get too far in it, a couple hours in. It's very cool, very kind of freaky. It's the same style you get from Security Breach. Not my biggest.
So what are you doing in this game exactly?
It's navigating through a maze, which is the entire building. You get access to different areas depending on how far you are in the game and the puzzles that you've completed. And you're basically tracking down this Mimic. That's the story that you're involved. You're kind of this,
but you never know
that's overworked.
Who you're encountering is the Mimic or not, because he's a shapeshifter.
Yeah, exactly. And there's like dead bodies laying around inside all the costumes, and that the Mimic has presumably killed. It's a very puzzle-driven game with a lot of running and hiding and being chased by the Mimic, stuff like that.
I'm not into this like being chased like thing. I don't know. Like I did play Poppy's Playtime, and I know a lot of people loved it. I didn't think it was fun. Like you're supposed to only be excited by the jump scares and the hide and seek aspect. Like it must be like you're either a hide and seek person or you're not. Like I just feel
Poppy's also relied a lot on the puzzles though, and some of them are pretty intricate, but there's nothing like mind bending, right? Like you're never going to be stumped for more than like 10 minutes on a puzzle.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like this, but I mean, people like it. You seem to like it.
People love it, and like it's not my favorite way to play. I would like to play the older TV style games. I feel like this, along with Security Breach, were more lore driven. Like what's his name, Scott, the writer. The mind of FNAF he was behind all this. So it's very lore driven, very story driven, just like the previous installation. But my big and most anticipated thing was Springtrap coming to Dead by Daylight, and I got to play a few matches before the show, and it is awesome. They did a bang up job bringing Springtrap in. His ability, he throws an axe and he can grab it out of your back to pick you up and then put you on the hook. I don't know if you're familiar with how Dead by Daylight works, but it's like a 3-hook system, and the killer has to catch you. Really good job. The designs are amazing.
It just broke a record, right?
Actually,
Dead by Daylight,
they broke their own record. Yeah. So they had over 105,000 concurrent players, and that was at 4:00. I haven't checked it since, but
so this is a big deal. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to play that game again. I feel like these older games that are getting more and more popular as time goes on is sort of an interesting thing we never used to see. And now it's just
Battlefront.
Just because gaming is more popular than ever, but it's all the marketing, like you're saying. And they didn't market that other game, but this had some hype behind it, and it worked.
But here's the thing: games were better,
most
maybe
asked for
like back then.
So what happened was Dead by Daylight released in 2016, but they upgraded the entire game, engine, graphics, everything in 2020, I think it was. So it did become a much better game. It was very jank back in the day, and I think that's what caused a lot of people to come back to it. Now, they broke their own record, obviously, which is amazing. They've been able to keep up on the PvP charts for a long time now. I think they hover around 50K. But the problem with this game is it is not friendly for new players. Yeah. There is so much grinding and playing to do in order to get the meta perks or the good perks and the good characters. And if you're not willing to spend, you get them a lot later. Now, it is a game like where 2,000-3,000 hours is actually on the low end for when you're playing online. You come across people. I've come across people with 10,000-12,000 hours. Now, who's to say they just left their game running? Whatever. I have almost 2,000 hours in it myself, and that's strictly playing the game. Like, it's a lot, but it's very fun. It's definitely fun. It's even more fun with your friends, and it's very deep. I have to say, for the amount of stuff in that game, it's a good one, and it's on sale right now on Steam. You can grab it on CD Keys. There's a bundle with the Five Nights at Freddy's chapter for I think less than $10. So if you did want to check it out, you can grab it through there.
Well, good. I'm glad to see an old game still doing well because, I mean, I play like Path of Exile. Like, I like when games have been around for 10, 20 years, even World of Warcraft, and they're still more popular than ever.
Yeah, exactly. And I did play one more game that I was intrigued about watching the Devolver showcase. It's called Ball X Pit, and I posted a video on the Discord.
I saw
It's about this guy that kept pursuing indie games. A big fan of making video games as a kid. He approached Devolver multiple times and got denied over and over again. Something happened in his life. He approached them with this final game called Ball X Pit. And it's like, what was that game with the bubble blaster or something? The old arcade game, John?
Bust a Move?
Bust a Move, that one, yes. So it's kind of that style, a little bit more gritty, but you can walk around the playing field as the balls, or in this case, the troops and like the other teams, the other team's troops are coming towards you, and you essentially unlock like a roguelike little abilities, and you change your balls. So you change your ball and your weapon essentially, and you can aim and shoot.
Interesting. I see that.
Yeah,
and
it's
they
like
ricochet.
Brick Breaker.
It's like a geometry.
Yeah, Brick Breaker is what I was talking about.
Really cool demo. Honestly, it played really well. And I think this is going to be a fun little Steam Deck type game that you can play in the future. Ball X Pit. Brick breaking, ball fusing, base building. Oh, yes. And you have like a base building factor when you come back to your base. You kind of farm a few things, create new balls, create new abilities and stuff like that. Really fun. I think it's cool. Devolver always kind of has these gems every now and again. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I actually want to try that now that I know it's like Bust a Move or Puzzle Bobble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, John, I think you'd like it. I really think you do.
What are you drinking? Anything
What am
fun?
I drinking? I'm drinking a Michelob Ultra. That's about it.
All right. So the big news this last week, I don't know, is it Marathon being delayed? Which we kind of knew.
Yeah, we kind of knew that.
I kind of knew but they said maybe some people saying never coming out, but
it's delayed, right? Like,
yeah, when they say delayed, I'm thinking they're done.
Thank
they're
you
saying
for your feedback.
They're saying that it's not coming out September 23rd at all. And apparently, when they made this announcement, the devs didn't even know they were going to make this announcement. Is what I read.
Yeah. I mean, they're calling it a dire announcement, which usually isn't a big deal if you're just saying, hey, it's delayed. But they didn't give a date, and some people saying it's indefinite. I mean, that it may never come out now.
So they said, thank you not only for your passionate feedback around the Marathon reveal and alpha playtests, but also for your patience while we took the time to listen closely and chart our next steps. So the alpha test created an opportunity for us to calibrate and focus the game. So this is not about gameplay at all, right? This is just about what happened with the art.
It's also
100%.
about gameplay. People hated the game.
Well, I think it was
before
just
the art
like
thing broke,
meh.
people said this game
It
sucks.
was just meh.
It's boring.
Yeah.
This is not going to be popular. This is a bad extraction shooter. I disagree. It's only about the art. I think this game was a bomb with or without the art.
I know, but the art really, that was it.
No,
That was
the
it
average
was a
person
done
doesn't
deal.
even know about the art, though. The people that played just said this was not fun. Everybody I talked to said it was not
So
fun.
Bungie's dead.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, listen, since we started this podcast, all these great studios that were founded by great people
left, and there's
all those people are gone.
Yeah.
They're all gone. That's it. That's what's happening.
Yep.
And then,
they're still updating Destiny 2. They're not even in there anymore, are they?
I think it's different people. I don't know. Look, I thought Destiny was cool.
But
I hope Destiny 3 comes around at some point.
I mean, the bones were created by the original people, right? That was their their big post Halo thing, right? So,
but even they're in hot water too with the whole you can't access the entire game thing anymore, and they're getting sued and all this crap, or they were suing other people for having the game itself in their video. And it's getting kind of sketchy.
But I think the Star Wars thing might be pretty big. I'm predicting that right now. Like they're transforming the game into Star Wars this fall. Are you not aware of this?
Everything's Star Wars, I find. Every game is incorporating Star Wars to one extent.
Fortnite
Even
just did it.
Dead by Daylight has rumors that Darth Vader's coming as the next killer in the next coming years.
Well,
Don't know,
it's a big
Don't know how that
property.
will fit, but
Even though the only good
it's
show
huge.
apparently recently has been Andor, which I haven't watched yet, but that's like been the only good Star Wars property in the past like decade or two. Other news, John, you wanted to talk about this. I don't know why, but Nintendo Switch consoles have been stolen from a semi-truck. Are you concerned about this? From a truck stop.
I mean,
$3,000.
$3 million.
Yeah.
I know, right? So someone stole 3,000 Switches from a semi. Stole.
That's one of my pet peeves. I don't know.
I know. Well, it's past tense.
Tensed?
Stole.
Past
No
tense.
Past tense. Past tense.
They stole.
They stole past tense.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
So they stole 2,810 consoles, which is worth more than $1.4 million.
Nice.
And so Nintendo knows these serial numbers, right?
They're bricked. 100%.
They're going to scratch them. They're going to jailbreak them, and people are they'll get out there.
Or that.
But it's like when people that steal iPhones from an Apple store. Like Apple can just deactivate all those phones, right? Like, so would you?
They're gonna brick them instantly as soon as they go online.
But what's going to happen though is they might put these on eBay, and some unsuspecting person is going to buy one of these, right?
Yeah, which is why Nintendo probably won't do that. And there's probably ways that they could make that where it doesn't happen. But there's also like other countries I've heard, like a lot of times with stolen cars, they'll sell it in a whole other country where there's different rules and who knows. But that is weird to like just hit up a Switch truck.
3,000
how did they know?
Switches on one truck. Yeah. That's
was there
crazy.
anything else stolen or was just a truck of Switches? I mean, I feel like we're not getting the full story here. So it happened in Colorado.
What else would be in the truck,
heist.
Michelle? Pringles?
Well, maybe it was just like a UPS delivery.
No, that's a lot of Switches, right? That's probably a full truckload. 3,000 of those? I don't know.
3,000
inside job. This is
going
to be a
the picture
movie
of the
making.
truck looked pretty small, so like it was definitely all Switches.
This is inside job.
It looks like a full size, 40-foot.
Like a U-Haul.
You think it's a U-Haul?
Well, look, I'm just saying the size. It looks
here we
like
go.
one
The
of those, like-
driver told deputies he was en route to a GameStop store in Grapevine, Texas, from Nintendo of America in Redmond, Washington.
Yeah,
So
he
yes,
told more
all
than just
Nintendo
deputies.
stuff.
Oh my God.
He
So this
told
driver
deputies-
is in on this.
He did not
100%.
know what was in
What?
the trailer. Only that it was games or toys.
Wait.
I didn't know.
Okay.
He didn't
Okay,
know.
this
That's
doesn't
bullshit.
make
You
sense.
knew what
Left
you're carrying.
Nintendo and didn't
he
know there
literally
was
left
Switches.
You knew it
Nintendo.
was in there.
Oh, come on. Listen, these drivers are sitting outside
knew
the
what
back
was
of the
in
truck
there.
watching the pallets go in. They can
Yes.
see the boxes. They can
It says
read the
Switch
boxes.
2 on it. You know you're going to a GameStop. He just knew it was games and toys, guys. He didn't know anything
But the thing is,
else.
okay, he was going to a GameStop in Texas, though. A single store, he's dropping off what, a few cases? Not all 2,800.
There was
That's not going to a single store.
no.
Maybe it's a
Or
boutique
went to like
store.
a distribution center, maybe like
Right.
a GameStop distribution center, and they were going to ship it from there. It could have been that like that.
That's a red flag.
This
I
story's
didn't know
got
what they
holes
were.
in it.
Yeah,
He's lying. I didn't know what it was.
But it was just Mario figurines.
I left Nintendo
Don't
and
they
was
tell
going
you
to
the
GameStop.
weight of your truck, what's inside, the value?
There's no
like they
fucking
must,
way.
There must be a sheet
Everything.
somewhere. You
I'm
probably know
assuming
that.
the guy showed up with an empty trailer and he watched them load it, right?
Fake news, Derek says, and Badger says Nintendo's going to sue the driver. That is a possibility. They're coming for him personally.
I think the driver's in on this shit.
He's in trouble. He's in hiding right now
I
in
gotta agree.
Bosnia. Well, other news going on out
This
there
is like
was,
some
of course,
Goodfellas stuff.
it is.
Them robbing container or whatever.
Yeah, Sopranos when they stole the suits. This is a lot of this is like the Microsoft first party console news that we kind of talked about at the start. I don't think we have anything else to really say about that. Of course, they made a deal already with AMD for upcoming hardware, not Nvidia. Nintendo, I guess, has that on lockdown, John.
Yeah.
PlayStation, you already talked about that, kind of confirming 2027 release date for PS6. That is their focus.
Wow.
Yeah, 2026. PlayStation's fucked.
No, they're not.
Yes,
was
they
interesting.
are. How can you defend PlayStation? They haven't released anything good except for
PlayStation
Astrobot
is going to be fine. Okay, how about this? Where will most people play Grand Theft Auto?
There's no story. There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk about with them.
PlayStation.
Like at all.
But
like
you don't need exclusives to survive anymore. It's a different universe you're thinking of.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Grand Theft Auto.
In the middle here, like GTA is going to sell PlayStation.
More people
hands
have
down. It's
PS Now than Game Pass. More people own PlayStations than Xboxes.
That stat is antiquated, by the way.
Nintendo
I don't believe that.
PlayStation games are selling better on Steam.
That PS Now versus Game Pass stat is old. That's not true. I guarantee
PlayStation games are selling better on PC because look at how many Doom sold versus Stellar Blade. How is Sony dead when they're making money hand over fist? That's all. I don't think anybody's dead.
You also have to look into Japan. Japan has like way more PlayStation players. There's like 2 Xboxes in Japan. It's a global thing.
So nobody outside of America even gives a shit or knows Xbox exists. There's like 3 people in the UK.
What is an Xbox? So
it doesn't matter. I'm just saying this idea that PlayStation's dead. They're like the only living room console people buy.
But they haven't done anything for us at all lately. There's nothing exciting. There's no excitement with PlayStation. Period.
Their games are breaking records on PC. What is a PlayStation? Their published games are breaking records,
though.
But
they
that's all.
Make that.
They published it.
I
and
know,
they had an exclusive deal with
yeah.
them. You can't play it on Xbox, so I don't know. But the reality is they're not dead.
Think about what they've tried. They tried the Portal. Their big exciting thing was the Portal.
Yeah, and
PSVR 2.
Right.
And all garbage.
Even with those failures, they're still making the most money. The properties, right?
That's really true.
Their last Sony Direct was kind of, other than Resident Evil, they didn't really have anything.
I mean, you don't have to tell me.
Was
I
it
don't
Resident
see
Evil?
a
No, it
reason
wasn't
to
Resident Evil.
own these things. But if you're a console player, you're going to buy the most powerful console. And right now, it's a PlayStation Pro for your living room. You're going to want to play Grand Theft Auto on it. You're going to want to play the Sony exclusive games. But this is the majority of people in their living room are still buying PlayStations, John.
Buy a
not
Switch.
Dead.
I don't know. There's still a lot of PlayStation 4
Do not buy a
people in
Switch.
play.
That is the place where you can play the least amount of games. I would say build a PC if you're willing to wait a little bit. Yeah, if you can only own one thing. But yeah, I'm not. I mean, they may not be like blowing my head off, but like I feel like PlayStation's going to be fine and is doing fine, and they've got their exclusives. They've got other games that are running best on PS5 Pros.
They're boring.
I mean, I don't know. I'm a PC gamer, but I'll still play their games when they come out, like Stellar Blade that I really like. So Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said to shareholders, "We are redefining what it means to be an Xbox fan." So this is a selling point for them. Other people were laughing about it, saying, "Oh, ha ha ha, they're abandoning you." No, guys, this is a good thing. This is what they're telling shareholders. So they think it's going to change everything for them. And I know we've all talked about this for a while.
It's going to.
It is exciting, and you feel like Sony's stagnant. Maybe that's a better way to put it for you, that they're not dead, but you feel like they're stagnant.
Yeah, I feel like Sony has to clap back at some point with
oh
some.
Oh, God, you with these words. You've said banger, clap back,
announcement.
We do have a new Matt Bradford here, guys.
I didn't say banger, and I say banger.
Say clap cheeks. I don't know what's that. There was something with a B. You said something with a B that I was, whatever. I'm just teasing you. No, I think Sony's got to do something, you're right, to sound exciting, but I still think they're going to win the next console race, like whatever.
Well, Xbox isn't even going to come out with a console.
But what is an Xbox?
They are, well,
you need to remember, software is where the money is, not the fucking hardware. So,
I mean, they got to clap
for
cheeks
Xbox
here. That's right. I said.
Well, for everybody.
No, I mean, for Xbox, it 100% is the software end of things, and Sony is going to hold that console market on the hardware side of things, and they're going to be in every living room just like they are now. Whereas Xbox, you can just switch the input on your TV, pick up a controller, and play it through your TV without a console.
Right.
So,
look, I think it's a good thing, but I feel like to the average console living room gamer, they may find that to be a deterrent, what the next Xbox is doing. They may say, I don't want to mess with any of that bullshit. I'm a console gamer, not a PC gamer. I think they're dumb, but I feel like they're going to feel that way.
I don't think it's going to be presented that way, Michelle. I don't
see how this could be a bad thing.
Well,
for
Sarah
any gamer.
did an announcement today where that was the whole focus. Windows will be the number one gaming platform. And if people in their living room hear Windows, they might go, ooh, that's all. We'll see how it pans out.
Whatever the Asus ROG is, that interface,
and
that's
I've heard
the
it's
next
not going to
Xbox.
sell, and it's a bomb. Okay, and the ROG is going to be $1,000 for the black one, like $700 for the white one. That's the rumor. So you're only going to want to look at the more powerful one because the other one's like.
What I'm saying is, though, that interface, whatever that is, that's the next Xbox.
Opti says in the 2024 fiscal year, PlayStation achieved a record-breaking milestone by becoming the first gaming company to surpass $30 billion in annual revenue. And you're saying they're dead?
They're done. Yeah.
I don't know. You guys are Nintendo fanboys. I think Nintendo and Sony hate each other. I think it's coming out here. These guys are huffing that Nintendo juice and they're shitting on Sony for no reason.
I
don't matter, Sony fanboy. I'm going to pick up the torch even though I'm PCMR, okay?
I own a PS5. Give me a reason to turn the fucking goddamn thing on. I have the PlayStation Now subscription. Or PS Plus. I mean, like,
I'm in the middle here with
did
John.
for Firebreak. I mean, I don't know. Didn't you?
No, I didn't. I played that on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I haven't turned my PlayStation on since Split Fiction, and that was before that. It was like over a year because everything else I could just play on PC or
Astrobot.
my Steam Deck
that was
I know,
it.
but like a lot of people don't want to mess with PCs, so I feel like if we're going to only look at the living room, PlayStation's going to win, and they're going to win again, and they're going to win again.
Next
and
Xbox
they're only in
is
America.
Not going to be presented.
And do you think Japan? Do you think any other country is going to pick up the Xbox with Windows? They're not going to go near that shit. That's going to have a taint to them.
It's not going to be presented that way, though.
Everybody's going to want the PS6, John. I'm sorry to break it to you.
When you look at the Asus ROG, do you think Windows? No, it's Xbox, right?
No, I think it's a ROG
even without
with an
the
Xbox.
It runs Windows regardless.
What
I know,
like
but
is
by
what
default,
the masses
it's
like
not
is
gonna
what I'm
boot
saying.
into
I
that.
am in agreement with
Yeah.
you guys. I think this is the better way, but I feel like the masses are going to flock to that PS6, and it will still be the best-selling console. It will still be what everybody plays Grand Theft Auto on.
2 years
They're
from
still
now.
going to be fine. Yeah,
Like,
The
they're not
Witcher
gonna
4 is saying they're targeting PlayStation first, and that looks amazing with I know, John, it's a tech demo, blah, blah, blah.
It was.
But yeah, I don't, I like the idea that Windows is going to be on an Xbox and Windows is the device. I just don't think Sony's dead. I think even all of their exclusives could go out tomorrow. They're still going to sell the most consoles in the living room, but we'll see. What other news did you guys see? Do you want to talk about anything fun? There's a rumor about a PlayStation handheld.
Of course there is.
Okay.
Well, that would be that clapback that we're looking for here.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's going to run some crappy Sony OS and only be able to play Sony games.
No.
It's going to be what the Portal should have been.
this?
The Portal should have never been an in-house only portable
They said
system.
the PS6 is going to be a handheld and a PS6.
Oh, did they? Switch style.
Yes.
PlayStation Switch.
Well, once again, people are going to start choosing between these handhelds, right? Do I want the PlayStation one where it's PlayStation games? Do I want the Switch one where it's Switch games? Or do I want a handheld PC where it's all of them? And the handheld market is going to have a new Xbox console too on top of this ROG one. This is going to be weird. How are they going to make it the most powerful one with a handheld component? Is it going to have like a GPU in the dock? PlayStation's not going to go the Switch route where it's weak with a mobile chip.
No, Nintendo should have done that this time.
Yes. But Nintendo graphics.
Yeah, this is the rumor. The new PlayStation handheld. The new PlayStation handheld console could launch with the PS6.
Oh, so it's not part of it. It's just along with it.
It's two consoles that play either game.
I mean, I know it bombed, but I didn't hate the idea of the Wii U tablet. That it was just a screen. That's not a bad idea if people want to play on the couch and it's running off the other thing either.
It was great at the time. I loved it.
Yeah,
I mean,
but nowadays with the Switch, people want to take it with them, and you couldn't take that with you. So I think that's definitely in the past.
I stretched the limits of what that thing could do with the range,
right? Because
I used to play it in bed. The console was on the first floor. I'm in bed on the second floor with the Wii U tablet playing whatever, and it worked.
What about the Portal, John? Did you ever take the Portal into the house to play it?
I never got that stupid thing.
Oh, I thought you got it.
No.
Maybe it was Matt.
I've had the controllers that you could snap onto a phone, which was pretty much the same thing.
Me too. I had
And, you
that.
know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. But you know, honestly, what I tried something Rob Sprance mentioned on the show when he was on, I used my 13-inch iPad with a controller and I've streamed stuff that way. Like they're really just screens at the end of the day. So the Portal
Sure.
didn't do too well. You know, I know that to me it was a misstep. People want to play locally, but people were asking with like the Xbox thing, how they're saying all Xbox games, will they be streamed from the cloud? Because they're saying like every Xbox game, and people are like, how's that going to work? Well, they probably mean you're going to be able to stream them. From
I
your
know,
old
but they
library.
said the AMD chip's going to play every Xbox game. They're making a custom
Yes.
chip that can do all of that. And that might be true, though, right? They might be able to play the 360
it could be a
stuff.
hybrid chip of like the old
Right.
infrastructure. You're saying, okay, sure.
Well, they can go the Nintendo route easily and just emulate it all. Like they're doing, like pretty much every Switch 1 game is emulation on the Switch 2.
Which might be what
Why
the
not?
Series X is
Yeah.
probably doing that now already, right?
Yeah, why not just continue that instead of making a whole product? I know we don't know that's what they're doing, but potentially they could be.
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting time right now with everybody.
Hideo Kojima has praised Clair Obscur Expedition 33 developers Sandfall Interactive, saying the French studio's smaller team size is ideal. And he went on to say they only have like 33 team members and a dog, and that's my ideal when creating something with a team. And we were going back on that a couple weeks ago, saying like these smaller team sizes that are breaking off from these big corporations are going to be coming out with, like, this has been happening for the past 5 years. And we're going to start to see a lot of these games coming out in the next 5 years from these smaller teams that are going to just blow our minds. I can guarantee it.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big part of the
is just the
speech
beginning.
from Jeff Keighley, which was, by the way, over 50 million people watched that Summer Games Fest, the biggest one ever.
God.
And he came out with that speech basically, and he's friends with Kojima, they're butt buddies. But like, you know, he came out with that speech basically like, look, gaming is changing with Unreal 5 and digital distribution and physical media being dead. We don't need you guys anymore. And they bravely stepped away from Ubisoft to make this game. And it was kind of like, okay, it's now accepted and celebrated to say this, where as in the past, you know, we had people shitting all over Larian Studios who did Baldur's Gate 3 and was like, well, don't expect this from us. They can only do this because they had Baldur's Gate like playtests. And now people are like, no, fuck that. Any small team with talented, dedicated people can now make a AAA game that's better than 8,000 people at Ubisoft. And so the trends are changing.
Look at
it's a good
Rockstar
thing.
and what they're doing with Mind's Eye. People are saying that Rockstar is shaming them for making a game that's similar to GTA.
Right.
Well,
Same
that we
boat.
don't know the true investigative
but
reporting
here's the
on that.
problem with all.
No.
Here's the,
John didn't
here's
get
the
to the
problem
bottom of it.
of what. Well, here's the problem with all of this, though,
Yeah.
is that when these small studios, they're having success, do they become the studio they left?
No, because they're the
That's-
people that said fuck
well,
this and left. It's
Well,
just the
hang
people who
on.
left Europe.
I
They said fuck this and left.
people
They're
have
crazy
egos,
people.
though.
They do.
You know, the founders. You know, oh my God, we just made this amazing game. Let's hire more people. Let's make more games.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely
And
that
suddenly
risk,
they're
but
right
new
back
ones
where
will
they
pop
started.
up. New ones will pop
Right?
up. Warner Brothers
Yeah.
games restructures into divisions centered on core franchises. So they're breaking up the Warner Brothers stuff. Of course, didn't they do Hogwarts? And people are concerned about what the next Hogwarts is going to be. But it sounds like some of these bigger companies are breaking off into smaller studios. Sony did that with Astrobot, right? A smaller broken
Yeah, it
off
was a
team
small
did it.
team.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I mean, even if it is a big company, it sounds like they're kind of breaking off into these
I
little
think in Japan, like
fragmented
even
things.
Nintendo uses a lot of small studios to make their first party games. Like they have these little studios sprinkled around Tokyo. They're doing like the Kirby game and the whatever game, you know.
Right. And
Like
we've
Well,
talked about
the
Repo,
whole
right? You
Game
brought it up.
Freak
Like
news.
10 people made Repo, and they're not just indie games because 20 people made Wukong, and now 33 people have made Clair Obscur,
Yeah.
and it's going to happen more and more as technology gets better, and you know, people are grabbing up indies right now. And what is an indie? It's probably like redefining what an indie is, because Dave the Diver kind of had people upset because they won an indie
was a big
award,
studio.
but they were
It was
a
a
big
fake-
studio,
a
it was a
fake
small,
indie.
yeah, they
it was
broke off
paid
into a
by
small
big
subsidiary.
company.
So,
Oh,
but
we're
now people
indie. We look
wanna
indie,
be
right?
Right. I don't know what's going on, but I think it's good for gamers because, like we've been saying, it's a good time. So that was all the news like I had pulled. I don't know what else you guys saw.
I mean,
Well,
it's all
Game
ahead.
Freak released a trailer for a new game that they're creating.
I
and
saw that.
It looks like an actual fully fledged video game, like a 3D game, and all the Pokemon fans are losing their shit because they're like, "Is this what Game Freak can do without
Nintendo's
like
limits.
holding them back?" Yeah, and it like if you look at this game, hold on, it looks
looks like a
yeah,
Neo
yeah, I
or
saw the
something.
trailer in the
it
Discord.
looks
I
like a
think.
Neo type game or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it called? Can't find the name. Anyways,
How
yeah,
about-
it just looks like an actual game, and people are like, why can't you do this for Pokemon, or at least try a bit harder? But Nintendo's just holding them back, got them caged in, and saying, no, this is what we want.
Mm-hmm.
Do it.
Well, remember when I
in.
played
They're
Infinity
they're
Nikki,
fucking
John, and it
printing
was
money,
a former
dude.
Nintendo guy?
Yeah.
But remember it was a former Zelda
I
guy
know.
who went
He
on to make
survived.
Infinity Nikki.
Yeah.
Like, these people are breaking off from Nintendo, and they're making games that are mobile PC crossover, and I think they're out on console now too. But why be limited and answer to only one console now? I feel like you'd have to be dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so if the Pokemon
But
people
Nintendo
can-
owns part of Pokemon, though. It's not all Game Freaks.
no,
Like
they might have
Nintendo
controlling.
owns a Nintendo
I think
owns
they
a
own all of it. don't they?
Nintendo.
Yeah.
I think they both own it. I think it's a joint thing.
Yeah. Well, Billy says if companies didn't copyright certain mechanics, they'd have better games. Well, nobody really does that and exercises it other than Nintendo, like we're seeing, but they only go after, like when we talk to people about this, like on air, they only go after the people that they can take advantage of. So it becomes patent wars. So they're not going to go after Square Enix for, Octopath Traveler because they're using the Vaseline cam that they own, but they'll go after Pal World because they have mounts and you're not supposed to mount pets. So it's stupid, and Nintendo's the worst one with it. But I would love to see stuff from people who make Nintendo games really not be held back by not just the hardware, but maybe Nintendo's vision for everything, just kind of giving them some more freedom. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That trailer was in our
Nintendo's-
Discord, but I forget
yeah.
the name of the Game Freak game. Did we say
Nintendo's
it?
a
Called,
just so we're clear, Nintendo's a co-owner of the Pokemon franchise along with Game Freak and Creatures Inc.
Creatures Inc.
Okay.
That's the other one. Yeah.
But Nintendo does not own any ounce of Game Freak. They're independent.
So Beasts of Reincarnation is the name of it.
Yeah. This looks
And
crazy.
I do remember a few years ago, it does look pretty cool. And Game Freak made a game a few years back that didn't do too well, but that was like maybe like a I don't want to be too cliche with my words, or Michelle's going to make fun of me, but
No,
it's
that's
like
why I'm here. Go for it. Be you, and I'm
exactly.
going to be me.
No, it's like through the looking glass of
Oh,
what Game Freak could
excuse
do. And no, and
These
they and now you
pretentious
see
Canadians.
this.
No. Yeah. This kind
Beasts of
of looks like
Reincarnation.
Soulsy almost. Like, I don't know. Like, it looks like
Yeah.
there's big boss battles.
It
And
looks like a Neo or something.
yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
So
like
I
a
don't know. I'd
Ghost
love
of
to see.
Tsushima.
Yep.
Ninja
Love to
Gaiden,
see more
whatever.
stuff from everybody. I think it's an exciting time. People are getting to make these games, and Nintendo. Not that
I have to
they're holding
admit,
people
I have
back,
a
but-
little fatigue with those Japanese hack and slash Neo type games, though.
You don't really play them. You turn them on and turn them
I've
off.
tried all of them. I'm just saying they're all.
And you have
don't
fatigue
care
with
about 'em.
crafting table. You like platformers and shooters, just like they're not your.
I love
genres.
shooters,
Nobody,
but
people
there's
don't
there's
have,
just a lot. There's just a lot of those games, though. Is what I'm saying.
well, because Eastern games are becoming more popular. That's what
Right.
audiences want, and that's what's being made. But I mean, there's enough games right now where you don't have to touch them if
Ninja
you don't
Gaiden's
want.
my favorite of all of them, but I'm old school with that, like that.
Well, I mean, the new Neo 3 demo that
Mhm.
O'Malley played might feel a bit like it. But
Well, it's Team
yeah,
Ninja, right?
yeah. So I don't know, but we're getting enough of everything where it's good. What else? We done? Is that it?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I think I'm good.
good. We had a good first show. Thank you for joining us, Rye. If you want to say hello or make fun of his words, just kidding. You can come on down to Discord and shout him out in the Nintendo Juice channel because he is running that Mario Kart World contest July 6th, 4 o'clock Eastern. There are like 20 or so slots. So first come, first serve. So get down there in the Discord. You can also sign up to win Stellar Blade from our sponsor, cdkeys.com. You can save a few bucks over there right now. They are a good place to get deals on tons of stuff. And if you want to find us during the week, head to videogameoutsiders.com. We have show notes, thank you, BMOs, episode archives, 20-year back catalog, weekly bonus shows, and what else? Ad-free VGO if you support us in Discord or on the app. I think that's it.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening and subbing and whatever. We'll see you very soon. Video Game Outsiders out. PS5, yo. I'm a robot man. I collect the coins. Look at me fly around with my jetpack. $700. That's just dinner and flowers.
PS4 is is alive. He's robotic astro.
I'm a robot man. I'm a robot man. Look at me, I'm a robot. Flying around, collecting coins. I'm climbing up a hill. I see a monster. I killed him with my jetpack. I'm a robot man. $700. That's just dinner and flowers. Broke boys acting like it's all mom's allowance. $700. That's just dinner and flowers. Broke boys acting like it's all mom's allowance.
Now, I hate to say this, but yeah, Phil wouldn't do this.